my goodness, everyone. Everything went wrong right before we went live. Matthew was going off to
Bite
fetch
your tongue,
something.
Robbie Bear. Tell them about the great big thing that went right. You can't even think of it, can you? Yesterday, friends, we were having a difficulty making a video, and I said, Robbie, restart your computer. That'll fix everything. And then instead of fixing everything, Robbie's computer wouldn't come on at all. So there was almost never a show today, because without Robbie's computer, there is no show. You think that we are the people who are on the show? No, Robbie's computer is the show. We are just secondary.
Yes.
Oh, Robbie, look at the pain and the agony and the fatigue and the sadness of the Robbie.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Robbie, where's the agenda?
Right.
Without the agenda, I am listless.
You never sent it to me.
I did. I sent it to you with the list of art, remember? And you asked me what my art was called, and, oh, did I just send the art and not the agenda?
You sure did.
Ah! So are you just here? Talk about this. Talk about this while I send you the agenda.
This was dropped off at our house earlier, not very much long ago, by Suki. This is rosemary. I wish you guys could smell it. Take a good sniff. It smells really good. I believe that we're supposed to use it to bake chicken or something. I don't know. Rosemary chicken, isn't that a thing? We're supposed to use it to bake, and so far I've never actually used fresh rosemary to bake anything, other than a Thanksgiving turkey, I believe. So I'm hard-pressed to try to figure out a new menu item.
Good riffing, Robbie! You know what you should have done, or could have done?
What?
You could have sung the famous song by Simon and Garfunkel that invokes the name of rosemary. Are you going to Scarborough Fair?
Parsley, sage, rosemary, and
thyme.
I'm sorry.
You don't like it? Is it too soft and gentle? Robbie likes songs that go.
I like songs that rock out a
like
little bit.
like Matthew's theme song volume 2.
That's
do you
right.
want to play that for them to show the kind of tunes that get you up and going? Dude, print out my agenda before all heck breaks loose.
Gosh.
Print it out.
You are going to have to do some.
Do you know when the appropriate time for Robbie to tell me that I hadn't sent the agenda was? It's not 5 minutes into the show. It's half hour before the show.
Can I tell you, I was frantically trying to get the video camera to work 5 minutes before the show, and it was not working.
Guys, there's so much. I mean, the show is already.
We've spent the entire first several minutes of the show.
Have people left in disgust?
Right,
I want to know if anyone just threw in the towel.
Because watching somebody complain about the things that aren't working, including my printer.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep riffing. I want to show you something, but it's on the agenda, so I'm really torn about whether or not to show you, but I think I'm going to. So we have talked to you guys at times about the importance of revising, and that nobody gets it right the first time, that the author
coming.
writes the
first. Here it comes.
Are you telling me I shouldn't step up?
Can you hear it? Well, if you want to follow the agenda. Ah!
I mean, did you have a jam or something like that? I've talked about the importance of revision. I've talked about the fact that creators don't get it right the first time. When I write a first draft of my book, it's a heck of a mess. Things are in the wrong order, things are missing, things are there that eventually get taken away. There are many mistakes. There's an incomplete and fragmented story. I have to take that and give it to Robbie. I have to take it and give it to our agent. I give it to our editor, and all of them together make suggestions. And they say, Matthew, for gosh sake, man, make this better. Here are some things you might want to think about. And I take their wise advice and I percolate it around in my head, and then eventually I go like this, and a new version of the story comes out, and then another version, and you revise and you revise. You don't make something perfectly the first time. So for a couple of weeks, you guys have been looking at this magnificent visual scrapbook made by our friend and show consultant, Jennifer Kafka Smith. And Jennifer said, hey, I did a pretty good job with that, but there are things that I wish I could have done differently or should have done differently. And so Jennifer said, I shall not be content with my first effort. I, capable, imaginative, energetic person that I am going to go back to the well and come up with a new, better, improved version.
Now,
first, Robbie, will you please run through some of the...
Velcro instead of magnets.
Oh.
Because the magnets...
I got to admit, the magnets kept falling off.
And I think
Jennifer probably observed that.
Also,
yeah.
little pictures of all of my pictures. How great are these? They're so cute.
Do you know how good it feels for Robbie's ego that somebody took the time to create?
Yes.
Now, Jennifer, we have a question for you. We haven't even posted online an image of Robbie Spaceman.
Of the
Did
Spaceman,
you take a screen capture of it? Did you go to those types of lengths? We're really impressed. This is bigger. It is sturdier.
And it has a new innovation.
Tell us. Show
In the back.
What? Okay.
It has some little super popsicle
Some
sticks.
great big super popsicle sticks. And what are we doing with that?
On here
What?
if we need extensions, because if we have more weeks of
so we have time
topics
to
or
grow
pictures.
the
Yes.
majesty. The majesty?
Yes.
The majesty. Got to pronounce your words right, friends. Neologism. Jennifer, we are agog, which means we are gobsmacked.
Please,
which
everyone,
means
applaud Jennifer for her
please applaud
excellent
Jennifer.
efforts.
I hate to take away your previous effort, but
I know.
wait, how many games of Scrabble were sacrificed in the making of this game? I hope that there are still some games of Scrabble left on the Eastern Shore. Are you taking that one down?
I'm just moving it over.
We're not going to replace it. We are simply going to augment it, which means we're going to add to its majesty with the new majesty. Jennifer, we are really happy, grateful, and impressed. All right? Guys, Jennifer recognized she hadn't done something perfectly the first time, and in this case, I think she served as her own editor in thinking of ways that she could do it better and was willing to continue working on it. So, kudos to you, Jennifer,
Yes!
for doing what we ask
They
young
look
creators
great.
to do. Yes. Look
I
at
love
that.
how it turned
Now
out.
we can each have one and stop fighting about
I know.
it.
I wonder if we should put one forward.
Every night before we go to bed, Robbie and I have a big fight, and she said, I want to have that next to my bed tonight. And I said, I want to have it next to my bed tonight. Gets pretty ugly, and Robbie always wins.
That is not
Every
true.
single time. Where is my agenda? Robbie, where is my agenda?
You know what I'm going to do?
What?
Here's what I'm going to do.
What? Oh, I can just look at the agenda? Oh, you're going to show them the agenda?
I'm gonna
That's
show you, but
unprecedented. Okay, so the printers just aren't working.
None
Is that
of
the
my
story?
printers are
You know what?
working.
I'm going to just tell them what the agenda items are. We don't
Oops.
need to show them. We don't
How
need to
did-
show them.
oh,
That feels
God.
too complicated.
How did that
All right,
happen? Now
guys.
all of
The
my
first
little-
item on the agenda is saying, "Good day, fellow humans." Okay, you guys, you're out there. You are human
we go.
beings. Good day, fellow humans. All right, we've done it. Let's move on.
Wait, what happened to
What?
What's it?
We have moved on, Robbie. It's a new week. We socialized Sweats at Yo last week.
All right.
Theme song. We already played it. Don't even have to do it again.
Already done.
Water consumption.
Haven't done that
To
yet.
consume is to drink. To drink is to refresh your body's cellular structure. Let's do it, friends. Let's drink some water together. Cheers. Mm. Moving on then to the next item on the agenda. Robbie, could you please? Oh my gosh, Robbie. Everyone's going to grow old, waiting for you to finish your water. I mean, we have patience, but not that much.
I felt like I did a really good job that
All right,
time.
good job. You did a great job.
What's happening?
All right.
Back to the agenda.
Yes, the next item on the agenda, the virtual agenda. This is an innovation, you guys. Matthew's fear of the chupacabra is not yet done. It's a new week. The theme is art this week, you guys, and yet the chupacabra haunts my conscious and sleeping mind.
Oh man.
I know. There's not much I can do about it. All right, but that's not.
That's it?
We're not going to
That's-
linger on that.
We're okay.
Just wanted to share that.
Done.
Okay, moving on. What do we have to say? Probably something about Robbie, because I like to be parallel. If I give them some sort of insight about me. Similarly, Robbie continues to love her Great Big Space Pencil.
Oh, my Great Big Space Pencil.
The Great Big Space Pencil was briefly misplaced. I think Robbie was very careless with it.
I was not careless with it. Somebody stole it. Somebody can steal something that you're being very careful about.
If the United States government
Mm-hmm.
put $100 trillion worth of gold in a vault and left it open, wouldn't you say they were careless if somebody stole it? You've got to lock your Great Big Space Pencil up. You can't just leave it out for any family member to borrow at the whim of a hat.
I suppose
All right.
I was careless.
You were careless, but that's all right. Fortunately, you are loved, and those who know how you feel about your Great Big Space Pencil don't want to upset you for long. Just briefly, not for long. All right, what's next? What's next on the agenda?
Next.
Please, virtual agenda, speak to us. Jennifer demonstrates the principles of iteration and revision. Okay, friends.
We already talked about this.
But what does iteration mean?
Well, I would like to demonstrate one revision.
What is that?
Which is to spell Jennifer properly.
Oh, you know what? I wrote this agenda in haste. When I wrote Jennifer an email thanking her, I used both of her N's.
Ah.
I did. Jennifer
That-
knows that I know how to spell Jennifer.
I was
Although
going to
we
say.
have a friend who spells it with one N, and I find it very
Yes, it's
delightful.
very-
But surprising. I always
Well-
have to remember, oh, you're the one N, Jennifer. Yeah.
Well, occasionally,
Yeah.
you spell your own name with one T.
That is never deliberately done. That is only an accident. My name is two T's, Always 2 T's, never fewer than 2 T's. All right, let us move on. Jennifer, thank you once again. This is where you were supposed to fall in the agenda had Robbie's computer not given everything up. All right, Matthew and Robbie share art they love and tell you why they love it. You guys, this week's theme is art. And so throughout the week, we're going to talk about art. We are going to hear from you what you love about art. I want to give you all a homework assignment this week. Find art that you love. This is separate from your research. Find art that you love and send us the links. All right? So we can share your art. And if you want to tell us a little something about why you love the art, that would be great too. Otherwise, we'll comment on the art. We'll say what we think about it. But Robbie and I both, I think one of the things that we have in common is that we have very compatible aesthetics. What's an aesthetic, Robbie?
Why are you going to ask me these questions?
Because I felt like I've been talking too long. Do you want me to say what an aesthetic is?
But you chose the one moment where I didn't know what the answer is to your question.
You know what an aesthetic is.
It's a sense of what...
Let's see what the dictionary says.
You think looks...
I think it's a sense of beauty, appearances. But it isn't always visual. Aesthetics are your sense of taste. It's what you find... you know what? It's a hard word to describe. Let's see what the dictionary says.
I took a class in college called The Philosophy of Aesthetics. I think that's what it was called. And basically, my professor's argument was that anything that was made by Vermeer is aesthetic and beautiful, and anything else is not.
And
so I have no longer
disagree with that.
Tried to define aesthetics because that was...
Okay, so it is about beauty, okay? It is concerned with notions, ideas, such as the beautiful and the ugly. So it's basically whether you think something is beautiful or not is your sense of aesthetics. So if you walk into different people's houses, people decorate in very different ways. They're interested in being surrounded by different types of objects. They're excited by different types of images. Robbie and I have very compatible aesthetics.
For the most part.
For the most part. Except when it comes to 1980s popular music. We have different aesthetic choices. But when it comes to our books, we both think the same kinds of books are interesting. The same kind of stories are worth telling. So that really helps us as collaborators that we think the same sort of things are beautiful and interesting. So I want to show you a painting that I think is beautiful. I remember the first time I saw it, I was in my art history class my freshman year of college or sophomore year of college, can't remember. And I looked at it and I said, oh, I want to spend my whole life in that painting. So you might look at this painting and say, I prefer paintings with clowns. And if you say that, then you're not going to like this painting.
And if you say it like that, we're going to wonder if you lost all your teeth.
This is a painting called Monk by the Sea. By who?
By Caspar David Friedrich, I think.
And apparently, no, you know what? I was told that this painting was destroyed in a fire.
Yes.
And it made me so sad. But it's not. It's on the wall of a museum. I saw it today. I saw it in its golden frame.
Really?
Yeah. I saw like a Google Street View where you could like move back and forth in front of it. So anyway, somebody wants to challenge that notion. I'm up for it.
Yes.
Because I was so sad.
Yes.
I saw the image and I was like, oh, I can't see it in person
because
it was
destroyed.
destroyed.
Too. Did, somebody please do some research
Robbie,
about Monk by the Sea.
I'm going to do it myself. Can you please tell them why Monk by the Sea is beautiful while I'm doing that?
Oh my gosh, why are you asking me these questions?
Robbie, excuse me. Did you or did you not major in art history at a college known for producing world-famous art historians?
I did.
Okay.
And guess what?
Can you tell me who in this room is most equipped to analyze this painting?
I just want to let you guys know that just because you studied something in college doesn't mean you know the first thing about it. And in fact, the more I studied about art, the less I felt I knew how to define it. Because it's different things to different people, and I think that's one of the most interesting things about art, is that this is, this is beautiful to both me and Matthew. And we don't really... We can't. I don't think that we could successfully convince somebody who didn't think it was beautiful that it was beautiful.
Okay, can I try?
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, but somebody could absolutely say, I disagree, and then you would just have to be
and I'd have a good response to that.
Which would be?
You're wrong! Okay.
So the more I learned about art, the less I felt I knew about aesthetics and what makes art beautiful and what makes art interesting. And
got some good news, Robbie.
Oh, good. Tell me.
Monk by the Sea hangs side by side with the painting The Abbey in the Oakwood in the Alte National Gallery in Berlin.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to go visit it sometime.
Is Monk by the Sea by Caspar David Friedrich?
Heck yeah, it is.
Okay, good. Well done.
I knew that part. I just
did.
didn't know which sequence of German-sounding words it was. I knew it was Caspar David Friedrich or William David... Insert other German word here. Let me see that painting.
Okay.
If the art historian among us isn't going to do it, I love the sense of emptiness. I love the sense of bleakness. I love that the sea almost looks black. There's that time, all of us know that it's not black, but we know that there's certain times when water looks black, when certain atmospheric conditions exist. I love the sense of isolation of that monk out there by him or herself. I guess if it's a monk, it's himself. At the edge of the sea. I love the sense of precipice, meaning it's almost like he's standing on the edge of a cliff. Even though it's the ocean, he's on the edge of something. There's this great churning power that lies just beyond the beach. He's confronting his own mortality. He's confronting the unknown.
My goodness.
It echoes inside of me, and it fills me with comfort. It shatters the loneliness.
I'd like you to
while
know
reaffirming the loneliness.
that while you are saying all of these things, there's a much more important discussion happening in the sidebar about whether clowns are creepy or not.
Most people think that clowns are creepy. There have been research done.
There's been research done?
Yes.
So why is it that clowns have been put forth in this world as fun and funny and entertaining, if most people find them creepy?
They are fun, funny, and entertaining. And when you are sitting in the bleachers with hundreds of other people and there's one little clown that's creeping you out, you say, all of us together are safe from that creepy clown. But clowns become creepy when you're driving along a road at night and there's just one clown by the side of the road, sitting there holding balloons with his head cocked going, that's when they become creepy.
I see.
They're simultaneously creepy.
Numbers.
It's perspective, it's context. Just like this painting that I love. Let us move on to the next painting that I love. Now that I have analyzed this painting in its entirety.
I don't think anybody wants to listen to
That's
Matthew's
not the one I want to show
analysis.
next.
I know.
Okay.
This one?
All right, guys, there is one perfect artist in the world, and his name is Yves Tanguy. Yves Tanguy.
Eve.
All right, that's what Robbie thinks. Can you zoom in on that a little bit more? Let's see that majesty a little bigger. So you guys, I don't know why I love these so much. They are... Every single painting by this man, right? Man?
Yes.
Is these gloopy shapes that are kind of shiny, arranged all together. They look like little smooth pebbles to me, except they've been sculpted kind of purposely. They look like little cities. They look like congregations of people or creatures assembled for some reason, trying to band together to create something. I love the smudgy sky. I love that it's always overcast. It's never sunny in his paintings, and I loathe the sun. I like overcast days. There is something about these strange blobby shapes that makes me feel centered and connected to the universe. It makes me feel cool temperature-wise, which is how I like to feel. I love these paintings. I don't know why. I love them. I always have loved them. I've never seen one in person. I've only seen them in pictures. Robbie, go ahead.
Let me tell you how much I hate Yves Tanguy.
Don't use that word. We don't use that word in this house. I strongly dislike. I prefer not to love.
Dislike Yves Tanguy. For completely different reasons, it seems, that Matthew likes him.
Oh.
I just want to say that I find this landscape, because they feel like landscapes. Matthew was right, because there's the sky overhead and this sort of like complicated structures below. I find them extremely unsettling. They make me uncomfortable inside. It looks like things are melting. It looks like things are cold and hard and mechanical.
Which is weird, because it makes me feel the opposite. It makes me feel settled and calm and anchored.
It makes me itchy inside, just like listening to terrible 80s music.
So
makes me itchy
so this
inside.
Image creates strong feelings in both of us that are opposites. I think that's fascinating, because for the most part we agree on what's beautiful, but when it comes to Eve, like Adam and Eve.
Yeah, it's the French spelling of
Yves.
Yves.
When it comes to Yves Tanguy, we have completely different opinions. I think we agree more on this next artist. Although I have one more Tanguy to show you first, because I just want to show you there is a theme here, my friends. This one has a little more color in it, but it's still blobby shapes that we don't quite know what to make of. Oh, did my secondary Tanguy? That's okay. It's not a big deal. All right, we will move on to an artist that we both love, I think, right? Do you love this artist?
I do.
Uh-oh, that was a pretty reserved... All right, I think probably Robbie doesn't love this artist because it's too common to love this artist.
No.
Yeah, she's like, Everybody loves him.
Here we go.
This is a painting by Vincent van Gogh. Van Gogh? Van Gogh? Van Gogh.
I think we Americans say Van Gogh.
I love... Obviously, you can tell that these are trees.
Yes.
But they look nothing like trees.
Yes.
That's what I love about Impressionist, or is he a post-Impressionist? What is he exactly?
I think he's a post-Impressionist.
Which means after the Impressionist
But maybe
era.
he's an Impressionist.
Anyway, but there's no one who looks like him. He's completely unique. So these are trees. I love the colors. I love the thickness of his brush strokes. I love the goopiness of the way he applies paint to the canvas. Can you look at the next one too? I wanted to show a couple of them. I showed some of his less famous ones. There's some famous ones that you may have already seen. I like all of his paintings. I have not found a Vincent van Gogh painting that I don't like. I love the colors here. Look at those colors. Look at the blue in the tree in the foreground. It obviously isn't actually blue. Trees aren't blue. But putting the blue there tells us something about how the tree felt and looked to him in that light, in that moment. I kind of love that there's not a lot of foreground-background differentiation in terms of the color and the saturation, right? It's just the shapes that differentiate the foreground and the background. Why do I love it so much, Robbie? I love that light.
Apparently, Matthew should have been an art history major and not me.
I love it
You
so.
certainly have a lot to say about these paintings, which is what I like about art. You kind of can't be indifferent about art. I think you either like it or you don't like it, and you have your reasons. Is that true, or am I making that up?
What? That you either
That
like
you
it...
can't be indifferent about art.
Oh, no, you absolutely can be indifferent about art.
You can?
Absolutely.
Just not
Some
care
people
about it.
just aren't interested at all. Some people think about art and say, ugh, what a waste of time. What is the big hoop-hoopy?
But see, that's not indifferent. That's like,
No,
art makes me mad.
I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with you.
Okay.
There are people who are indifferent about art.
That have no opinion.
Right, who can look at that, and they can look at the kind of commercial art that's on the wall of a hotel bathroom and not be able to tell them apart.
Okay.
Like, they're not interested in looking at images. They're not interested in registering them in any way. I've met people like that, and there's no judgment against them. They're interested in other things.
Okay.
We all have our own things that we are interested in.
All right.
So,
Oh my gosh, can we move on with the agenda? I feel like everyone is dying a slow death
all right,
listening
so
to
we're
us
not
talk
going
about
to
art.
listen to, we're not going to look at your art preferences today. We don't have time. We'll do yours tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, but I want to look at my favorite piece of art of all time.
All right.
This is by a 20th century artist whose work crosses over into the 21st century. Wait, stop.
That's the clown that everybody was talking
beautiful.
about.
That's beautiful. This is a performer named
Who is this supposed to be?
Mademoiselle Gaga, I think is what she's called. This is a portrait by me, you guys. I expect that it will at some point be hanging somewhere near Caspar David Friedrich's Monk by the Sea in that museum in Berlin, once the world recognizes its value. Right now, it's in a box in our attic, along with a lot of other portraits by me. But, Robbie?
Yes.
This is your last chance to pull out your art historian chops and analyze this very important drawing.
I think that the one thing that I love
Yes.
about Matthew's drawing
Yes.
is that it is consistently...
Choose your adjective, Robbie.
It has a unique... I don't think I've seen other people draw like you.
Thank you, Robbie.
You have a very strong sense of style.
I'll tell you what, you guys. Being unique is actually as important
Yeah.
as being really good at something. Standing out, being different is interesting. Being recognizable is important.
Right.
So when illustrators, for example, try to break into professional illustration, it's very important that they draw in such a way that people are able to not just like it, but recognize it as theirs because it doesn't quite look like anyone else, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's called your style.
Yes.
My style for Matthew Draws, while horrifying, is singular, meaning unique. There's no one who draws in quite the horrifying way that I do. They draw in other horrifying ways, to be sure. But my drawings have a strange little through line of spine-tingling horror, which I'm very proud of. All right.
Matthew maybe should start drawing some clowns. Maybe that's what you're best suited for.
I've drawn Ronald McDonald.
You have drawn Ronald
Yeah.
McDonald. And we sometimes show him on
our school visits. And people always think it's Pennywise.
Yes.
And then we chide
Who's
to
a
them.
terrifying clown.
I think Stephen King is to blame a lot.
For the clown
For
thing.
the clown
I
thing,
agree.
yeah.
I never thought clowns were scary until people started saying they were scary, and I was like, oh, that is kind of scary.
Next agenda item, Robbie.
All right.
All right. We have blank news.
What does that mean?
We have some news to share, and
Yikes.
people have to
That
tell
sounds
us.
scary.
It's not scary. It's just that you guys get to decide how you feel about it. That's why I'm not going to tell you what
Oh,
kind of news.
I see.
It's
Good
either,
news or bad news.
It's either good news or bad
I
news
see.
or whatever. I'm going to get a little sad.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a little sad. This is the last week of the story hour
Yeah.
as you have come to know it.
Yes.
Meaning doing it every day for an hour. We are in the process of coming up with a new version where we will do probably 2 shows a week, and we will talk less. We're still working it out. I think we're going to talk about topics. We're going to talk about creativity. We're going to talk about making stuff. We're going to talk about risk taking. Yeah, go ahead.
Instead of themes of the week that are like
Butterflies. Yeah.
which we haven't done.
We're going to have conversations about creativity, and we're going to still drink water, and we're still going.
This
What?
makes it sound super boring.
No. It's going to be super great. Super great. We are going to try to have it be pretty much the same thing, but it's going to have a slightly different feel. It's going to be twice a week. It's probably not going to be as long. So anyway, this time with you guys has been awesome.
I know.
I'm glad
it
we've
makes
gotten
me
to spend
sad.
these 3 months together. Unfortunately, we've got a bunch of projects that we've got to work on.
Yeah, here's the thing, guys.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is this show, even though it's just like an hour, takes some time a little bit to prepare, and then we have all the franticness of getting the video camera and everything set
I
set
think
up.
we will be able to accomplish pretty much the same thing in terms
Yes.
of hanging out with you
Yes.
guys a couple times a week
Just
and talking
couple
about
times a week.
things, giving you guys a chance to get together and talk
Yeah.
to each other, but in a way that works a little bit more with
Yeah,
the
I
stuff
have to
that we do.
illustrate another book.
And I have to write a new book.
And Matthew has to write a new
Yeah.
book. And the problem is we can't do those things while doing something
while
else
we
5
spend
times a week.
quite so much time here. So,
sorry.
in any case, don't be sad.
I'm sad.
Change is positive. Change is good.
Sometimes change is
I
negative.
think that we will be able to be more regularly on time for the new
That's
show.
true.
Because we won't always be
Well,
pushing
we'll
so
also
many
be a
monkey
little
buttons.
Hopefully we'll be a little bit more prepared.
Well,
This
we-
was a long lead up. Oh, it's 1:29 already. How did that happen?
Because I spoke so thoughtfully about art. Yes, in terms of the entire hour-long thing is what I was referring to as Story Hour. We're going to discontinue the daily spending of an hour with you
Yes.
guys. We are going to end on Friday when we finish the Real McCoys
third
Volume
book of the
3.
Real McCoys.
And then we're
Yes.
maybe going to take a week off to
Yes.
lie flat on the floor
Yes.
and or watch movies and TV and
wait-
or eat
wait
M&Ms.
for my eye to heal.
Wait
That's
for
what
Robbie's
I
eye
wanna
to
do.
heal. Wait for Robbie to get started on our new project.
Yes.
And then we'll ease back in. So I want you guys to think about what are things that you're curious about that you'd like us to have shows about. I know this is a big question, and we'll come up with topics to be sure.
I mean, ideally stuff that we know about, and we can, like, we spend a lot of time on this show
Yeah.
being like, I don't know what I mean, Jennifer, please look this up for us. Maybe Jennifer should have her own show.
Maybe Jennifer should have her own show. But I would like you guys, if there's things that you'd like us to touch on this
Yes.
show, you know that we can just yammer about pretty
Yeah.
much anything at all. So anyway, we're going to go over to the other show
gonna go
now.
over to the other show.
But set this in your minds and hearts,
Yes.
and we'll, we'll keep talking about it this
Oh
week.
my gosh,
What?
where's my mouse? Here we go.
We're going to have a virtual agenda in the next show, too.
I don't know.
Okay.
It was supposed to have printed out over there. It didn't print out over
No,
on the
it
other
didn't.
printer.
It's okay. We're,
Oh my gosh, you guys,
it's okay.
everything is falling
it's
apart.
cool. It's cool like butter. Like butter. Like cool butter.
But it's not cool.
But it's cool like cool butter.
It's cool butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye guys. Oh, did you just kiss them?